Three people. I am really touched by your immense dedication to the PEL, and we'll be getting started here in just 1 minute. Of course, if you can't see it live, we will have it on the replay on YouTube. Oh, we're up to 4. All right. I can feel the anticipation growing. Look, man, I told y'all I'm trying to get some stuff straight with my wedding. Okay. God. All right. So I'm gonna pull up the chart. Um, what this is gonna be is my phones continue to go off. That's the work phone. Okay. All right, we're good. All right. So what this is gonna be, I'm gonna break down the selections of the team draft and basically just kind of go through by division. I'll start with the NFC because we all know that they're the inferior conference, and we'll start. I'm looking at the NFC East. We don't really have any changes. The Eagles are open, but we got the same suspects in the NFC East, with Ragjaw being the Redskins. He is a Redskins fan. Y'all know how he is. He's going to throw to the flat about 75% of the game. Just stay cover 2, and you'll be fine. I'm just kidding. But he's a really good team builder. And, once he gets his team in place, he's usually a pretty good player, and in the playoffs a good bit. Y'all know Gate very well. He gets excited about the game, and then he starts missing games, and then he misses the playoffs, and then he tries to make trades, and then he misses like 8 games the next year. So y'all ain't gotta worry about him too much. But nah, he's one of the original ones from the beginning, and he's a really good dude. We used to call him Stephen A, but now he's kind of mellowed out, so I don't really mess with him too much anymore. Because of that. The Giants have been here a long time as well. Sometimes it's forgetting me. I love you, Ragjoe, man. You've been here a while. But the Giants has been here a while too. Sometimes he can get a little on the edge of being sim, but we kind of keep him in line. And he's kind of like one of those animals with a shock collar. He gets to the edge, and then you got to shock him a little bit, and then he falls back in line for a little while. So, yeah. But he's a true to the heart Giants fan, and we love him. I'm trying to set up a split screen here. Bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to keep this up while I read what you guys are posting. I'm not having a lot of success at the moment, but just bear with me. Okay. So we're going to do it this way. I'm just going to glance down at the phone and keep on talking. Alright, so you're going to jump to the NFC North, and the NFC North looks a lot different than it did a year before. Excuse me. The Detroit Lions, led by Kay Coles, I was shocked that he did not switch in the reverse draft. There were some really good teams available, and I know when he picked before, he was, of course, picking late. But he stuck with the Lions, and I'm gonna assume that's because he's young and dumb. But we had a little talk on Twitter about him being an average to pretty good player, and he's motivated to do better. Fun fact about him, I covered him, doing my high school football stuff here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And he was actually a very good dual threat quarterback for a team here, and he led them to the playoffs. So he's a really good player. He's playing DB up in Connecticut. I forget what school exactly, but he's a nice young man, and I'm glad that he's here. Green Bay Packers, led by Jones Boy. This is another one of the shot callers. I think he ran about 25 posts against me in the playoffs towards the end there. But nah, he's been here a little while. He likes to throw the ball a good bit, and him taking Aaron Rodgers is going to be a challenge for the NFC because I know he's going to put up some big yardage. Not necessarily, he doesn't have the speed receiver he likes, but he has some good receivers, and I expect him to probably be the early favorite in that division. All right, you look at the Bears, the crazy one. He was formerly the Colts. He came in last Madden, and I always say about him, he plays good defense, but his offense kind of lacks a little bit. And he's in some close games, but he just doesn't have that offense to push him over the top. Um, with the Bears, he's not going to have a lot of offensive help right off right off gate. He's got Jordan Howard at running back. He'll be a really good player, but I would assume you're going to start Trubisky. He's tearing it up right now. He'll have some pretty decent ratings coming out. You gotta have to find a receiver. I think Kevin White's still there, but I don't think he'll be rated as high as he was before. You got to play like the '85 Bears, man. Ground and pound it, and that plays to his strength. So they'll be a tough out. And this guy's been missing in action. He's the only guy that's been missing in action. And I don't know why. I hope he comes around soon, because if he doesn't come around, I don't know what we're gonna do, man. But that's Douche LaLoosh. He was formerly the Broncos, and I had many battles with him in the division last year. He's a good player, but he got caught in our tough division between myself and the Chiefs. With him, it's a lot about getting to the outside with the run, and then he's gonna throw the ball using a couple different formations, and he likes the motion some. So once you get down to what he does, he can be a little predictable, but he's a good player that got caught in a tough division. I think he could shine. I like him as a wild card favorite right now in the NFC. All right, so yeah, we're gonna jump to the NFC South, and yeah, I'll talk shit about you, Mr. Bucks. We'll jump right in, and Blake has been here for a while. Somehow he has avoided getting booted, even though he has a lot of complaints and complaining with him, but that's okay. I'm sorry. Blake is he's a good guy, and he gets frustrated sometimes when things don't go his way, and he's got to get it out. And he's gotten better at going to DM about it, which I definitely appreciate. When you look at him on the field, man, he runs a old school offense. He likes to pound it, and then he likes to go play action off of it. And some years, it gets him, close to the playoffs, and some years, loses some close games, and kind of missed a little bit of the off season. The roster falters and stuck kind of a little bit behind the eight ball. But like I said, man, Tampa, you look at their team, they made some nice moves in the off season. Of course, Jameis has developed. They got the tight end. His name slips my mind now. Good gosh. It's part of getting old, but they did some nice things with Deshaun Jackson, and the defense grown up a little bit, so there'll be a nice Madden team to use. You look at the Saints and Arbad. Arbad's been here a good while. He's a true Saints fan, and that's hard to find with Madden CFMs and such. But he's another one that we had plenty of battles in Madden 16, and it was fun to play him because he would give you something a little different each time. And he has his formations that he likes to run, but he'll give you a little twist here and there. And I respect him. He plays very sim, doesn't complain. He's a good member of the league, and he's been here a while, so he's one of the favorites that I have. You look at the Panthers, Big Maine. He runs his own league. I rarely shout out other leagues, but I like Big Maine a lot. He runs a league, cold football league, and it borrows a lot of the same kind of rules and setup that we have, and I don't have a problem with that. He does things the right way. He's very sympathetic to other people in the league and in the chat. He's a good dude. He actually gave us a shout out at the end of our Madden season last time, and I like him a lot. And with this Panthers team, he has an interesting play style. He likes to run play action too, kind of like Blake, but not as much or as in the same kind of situations. Um, but like I said, the Panthers are my hometown team, and Cam Newton, I think, is going to bounce back. His ratings are still good in Madden. McCaffrey is a nice addition along with Samuel. I think Samuel is going to be kind of underrated in this game. A lot of people don't know how good he is. He comes out with 94 speed and I think 96 acceleration. So if you use him right, he can be a dangerous weapon. And of course, the defense led by Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis, that'll be good too. So I like the Panthers as a team a good bit. Then you got the Falcons, led by my co-commish, Jeff, who's he's a really good dude, man. He's one that's been here from the start also. I think he was actually one of the first ones to join the original League of Legends, and back in those days, we were like the wild, wild west. Shit was just crazy. I mean, we had thugs, we had all kinds of people back then, and somehow he stuck through it, and I had some really crazy commissions with me back then. And we got through it, we cleaned all that up, and we're in a good spot now. And with the Falcons are his hometown team, and I think he'll do well. Of course, he always has done well in Madden 16 and last year in Madden 17. He's going to be a force in the NFC when I look at everyone that's over there. He'll be in the playoffs. I like him in this division early on. All right, so we'll jump to the NFC West. The LA Rams are open because Mr. Levi switched to the 49ers. And, you had all these other good teams open. And, I sat there and I asked him, I said, why would you switch to the 49ers? And he said he didn't know. And I'm like, all right, whatever you want to do, man. So he's the 49ers, and, you look at them, they're a project. And for some reason, when I look at leagues or whatever, a lot of people have the 49ers. I guess it's because, it's a team that you can build with some extra picks and such. But, yeah, year one, it's going to be a challenge for Levi out there, talent-wise. Of course, when he plays, he's a good player. I call him the king of cover 3. Because when you're going to play him, he's going to sit in a lot of cover 3. And that's okay, to an extent. We'll get into the rules here in a little bit. Kind of refresh, some of the things we talked about before. But offensively, he likes to run the ball. Some crossing routes over the middle. But all in all, Levi is a really good dude. And, I enjoy him being here. He's a little young, but, that's all good because you're mature. And I don't mind having young people when you're mature. And him and K. Coles with the Lions are young dudes, but they get it. And that's definitely a great thing to have in your league. You look at the Seahawks. He's already put out there that the Legion of Boom has a bounty on all the skilled players in the NFC West. With the competition you're going against, these other two guys, Levi and the other guy I'm going to get to here in a second, Um, it's tough to say, but the Seahawks are talented. A little on the older side in that secondary. You're gonna have to draft well and develop those guys to replace them as time goes on. Offensively, of course, Russell Wilson is a nice dual threat guy. Um, Running back's gonna be interesting to see who he decides to go with. I think he got a couple different guys there in the mix. Got to build that offensive line. Doug Baldwin's underrated at receiver. Jermaine Curse, I think he's okay. You might want to look at drafting a guy pretty soon there also. But the Seahawks have a good defense, and Beenum has a good defensive scheme. He likes to keep you off balance. And, the times that I've played him, that's the thing that strikes me. He may not have had the best records sometimes, but it was always a tough game. He's never been a pushover. And, he'll fight in that NFC West, and, I think he'll make some noise. And then you got the Arizona Cardinals. And, my old nemesis from Madden 17, Steven, or Nuke Strom, as his PSN is called. The thing that I say about him is he's really good at developing people. And that's a very important trait to have. Giving him the Cardinals, he's going to have some linebackers and defensive backs that are going to give people trouble. He's pretty good on the defensive side. I don't think, though, he'll be as good as he was in Madden 17. And I'm going to explain why. The XP was going to be curtailed some. He's not going to be able to have the monster defensive line that allows you to rush 3 and get pressure all the time. And then sit back in soft zone coverage and try to take everything away and funnel it underneath. And that's what he does on defense. Offensively, he's going to have Carson Palmer. And, he's going to have to be replaced in a couple years. He can develop another quarterback. David Johnson, I think, is going to be good for him. He's an excellent running back on a cheap salary for 2 years. And then once it's time for him to get re-signed, he'll have another guy that's developed and ready to go. So he understands the game well. He's a good CFM player. Of course, he did win 3 titles. But like I said, I think some of that XP curtailing may slow him down a little bit. All right. So that's the NFC. Okay, so let's jump over to the AFC, the true superior conference. I'm going to start with the AFC West. Let's go there. And we got the Raiders with True Lock. And in the team draft, I'm surprised that the Raiders lasted as long as they did. He got a really good value pick on a team that I think is on the rise, of course, in talent. Now, how well he uses these guys, I don't know. True Lock kind of has his own style, and sometimes he's really aggressive on offense, and sometimes it gets him in trouble. Defensively, I had a couple games against him. We were in different conferences. I don't know much about that, but the thing I know about Jerome is he's proud of being a hoe, and that makes you a great PEL member. For sure. Oh man, I'll never forget that day when we were talking about all that. That was probably, that should go in the PEL Hall of Fame. All right, so the Broncos are open. We'll be recruiting someone for the Broncos. I think it'll be an easy recruit though, because the Broncos have the top 2 corners in Madden 17. I don't know if y'all knew that. And I thought they would get picked up in the draft by one of the new guys, but they didn't. So, c'est la vie. All right, L.A. Chargers. That just doesn't sound right. I know Deontay isn't happy about his hometown team moving to L.A., but he's a true fan because he's stuck with them, and we all know how good Deontay can be. Playing Deontay, he's really good at running the football. And it'll be interesting to see if Melvin Gordon is the guy that he chooses to go with. Being hometown, I think he'll probably try to keep that team as close to the real Chargers as possible. You're gonna have to get a new guy for Phillip Rivers here pretty soon. They did trade for Cardale Jones, and I think he can be the quarterback of the future. Most certainly. Of course, defensively is where Deontay shines. The Chargers are underrated as a defensive team, man. They got some really good pieces. Denzel Perryman, especially at linebacker, he was a beast for me, and he still throughout the whole franchise. Even with Madden 17, I still got it on now. And I think at like 35, he's still good. So expect him to win this division, I believe. I feel pretty confident with that. All right, so you go to the Chiefs and Fearsome 24. He's the old Vikings. Of course, Cordavius Blackshear is a name that'll go down in PEL history as one of the most notoriously good receivers, along with the likes of Ken Burrell Spain and Darius Benoit, formerly of the Bundy era, but that's another story. So he developed a really good team in Minnesota, but he couldn't get over the hump. Don't believe he made the Super Bowl. I think he got into the playoffs and kind of stalled out there a little bit. With the Chiefs, he's got Tyreek Hill. Expect him to be one of the better receivers in the league. But you got Alex Smith throwing the ball, and you got to figure something out there. You got Mahomes behind him. If it was me, I'd start Mahomes and let him kind of develop. He's got the arm strength that you love, and with physical traits being so expensive this year in Madden 18, I think you got to take him and use him to your advantage. He can be your quarterback the whole Madden 18 season. You look at him on defense; he's pretty standard, nothing too crazy. But offensively, he can be pretty tough to deal with. I like him for a wild card spot, probably. I'm sure. And yeah, I did talk trash about you, Steven, but it was respectful trash. Like I said, I hate with my love, or I love with my hate. One or the other. You know what I'm trying to say. All right, let's jump to the AFC South. Houston Texans with you hating. You hating was the old Eagles, and he upgraded in teams this year. I think with better talent, I think it's going to make him a better player. He was always behind the 8 ball with those Eagles teams, and he likes to make moves and try to upgrade his roster. He had to do a lot in Philadelphia. And, I think with the Texans, just some advice, kind of let them be. Because they're a really good Madden team. You got Deshaun Watson, who can be your QB the whole time. You got some good receivers in Hopkins and Fuller. You already got a great defense. Draft defense, build them up, because some of those guys are going to get old eventually as we get into about year 3, year 4. Replace those guys, and you'll be good to go. That's my advice to him. But he's a really good guy. Been through some stuff, but hung with the league even through some very tough things. And I definitely appreciate the dedication, and much respect to you, man. Okay, Jaguars. This is led by one of my co-commissions, Kyle. And, Kyle has been a playoff team in Madden 17. And in Madden 16, he wasn't that good. But I give props to Kyle because he got better. He learned how to do the bullshit user lurk. It got him to being a pretty good member of the league. And, he'd have winning seasons and he'd make the playoffs. And, he'd push to an NFC championship game. I don't know. I think he made one Super Bowl, but he couldn't play. I think that was towards the end. But, he's a good player. And him taking the Jaguars, he had to figure something out with Bortles because I don't know what's going on with him. But you got Leonard Fournette. I know some people really want him. And I just see that Heavy posted that in the chat. I don't know if he'll give him up or not. But, the Jags have some pieces that you can build with, and I think Kyle will do all right here. In this division, I think he's the favorite. I don't know the new guy, but we'll get to him in a second. All right, so the Titans are led by Slim, aka Cody, who's another one of my co-commissions. Does a great job with making our videos. And like I said, you go on the Daddy League site. He's made the header video, and he's making a hype video. He's going to make some changes with the reverse draft happening. But he's a really good member of the league, man. He does a really good job helping us out in running the league. But he's had some tough luck in Madden. And I remember back in year one of Madden 17, before the game changed, he was good, man. He went 10-6, and he couldn't get in the playoffs because the damn AFC was so tough. And damn sorry ass NFC had two people getting in at 8-8. I mean, what is that, man? But anyways, that's why we're the superior conference. You look at the Titans. He knows these guys well. He had the same team last year. Mariota, I think, is starting to come to his own a little bit. Nice run game with DeMarco Murray and Henry in the backfield. They drafted a nice receiver in Davis. I think that can develop well and be a linchpin for that offense. And defensively, they've always been pretty tough. And I think it just depends, man. How strong the new guy is. I think that's really gonna be the difference. If this Antoine guy is good, and the Colts, they're a good offensive team, but between him and Kyle, I think that's a nice rivalry matchup. I'm glad to see that. Let's jump to the Colts, and don't know much about Antoine. He was brought into the league by the Redskins guy Ragjob. And, I talked to him in DM a good bit, and he seems like a really nice guy. He didn't mind about the team thing, really respectful, was cool with the rules, sim player. But, like I always say with new guys, time will tell. And, hopefully, he works out, because he seems like he's a really good guy. As far as the Colts go, Andrew Luck, is a really good player, but his injury rating is going to be low. They really have to beef up. They have to beef up that offensive line first and foremost. I think that's got to be their focus in year one when they get to the draft. They drafted a young running back in the mid rounds. I don't know what his stats are. Of course, they got the receivers with T.Y. Hilton on the outside. And Philip Dorsett as well. Of course, has got speed personified. And the defense, they need work. Just putting it mildly. I think they drafted Malik Hooker to safety, and he'll be a nice piece, but you're going to have to build that defense up too. So the Colts got a little bit of work to do, but they got Luck and they got some receivers, so they'll be dangerous throwing the football. All right, so let's jump to the AFC North, and we got two new guys in here. And I'll talk about them first before we get to the other two. The Bengals, who I had for the longest, before I switched for the betterment of the league. Because trust me and John Ross, it wouldn't have been fun. So I was nice, and I switched to a different team. But this is Austin. His PSN's Instant Fame HD. Austin was very excited to join the league. He does some cool things on YouTube. He's got a channel, and I'd have to go back and look at it. But he's offered to help us in that arena. We considered doing a league YouTube channel. I didn't do it right now, but he said in the future he would help us set it up and everything. And he does some really nice things. And I believe he plays either high school or college football. I can't remember which one. I think it's college. And he seems like another young guy with his head on straight. And we'll hopefully he's a good sim football player, and he'll become an asset to the league. And then you got the Steelers, led by Spartan. I'm just gonna call you Spartan. I can't read what that is. But the time I remember talking to Spartan, he really was looking for a sim league, and I can't. I think, God, I think Urkel brought him in here, but I told him I wasn't gonna hold that against him. But he seemed like a really nice guy. He was really looking for a sim league, and he got a really good team with the Steelers. And you look at them with, of course, Big Ben. You're going to have to replace him in a little while. Le'Veon Bell should be good for a few years. Antonio Brown, same thing. And the defense is slowly getting better. But off the gate, they'll be a good team to use. And I think this division is going to be really interesting with the two new guys. And then, of course, Doo-Doo Brown's Bugatti. Once again, congratulations on getting married. That's awesome, man. But, this guy has been my nemesis in the playoffs, and I don't know how the hell we keep getting matched up in the playoffs. But for some reason, I think it's that Browns coding, man. Someone is a Cleveland fan and felt sorry for them, so they get special coding in Madden. And, for some reason, he's always tough in the AFC championships. But in the Super Bowl, as you would expect from the Browns, he kind of falls on his face. But anyways, he's a good player. He likes to run the ball. He runs to set up the pass. A lot of passing on the outside, and then he'll come back inside on you after throwing outside a few times. So, but defensively, he was a good user, lurker. We'll see how effective that is in Madden 18. But all in all, he's a good guy. Doesn't complain much. It's pretty sim for the most part, and I don't think I've had any issues with him. So I definitely appreciate him being here. He's been here, I think, a good while, I believe. I'm pretty sure. And then Scooby Snacks was the old Texans, kind of joined, I think, in the middle of Madden 17, towards the end. Really good passer. Now I remember seeing his passing stats in some games, and he really threw the ball well. I think with the new rules, he had to be a little more balanced, but I think he'll adjust just fine. I don't think we had any complaints against him. He's a very sim player. Good dude. I know he's brought in by one of the co-commissions. I can't remember which one, either Kyle or Cody, one of them. But I think he's a great asset to the league, and with him being here all year this time around, I think he'll prove to be a really good player. And you look at the Ravens, you got Joe Flacco, who is kind of disappointing after he won that Super Bowl. And then, of course, they got Rashad Perryman, who's going to be a threat. You look at the rest of that team, they're just kind of like, they're alright. They got some pieces here and there, but I think you're going to kind of recycle that roster a little bit as time goes on. Of course, you're going to have to get another quarterback. But I'm sure he can develop one with what I saw in the short time that he was active in Madden 17. All right, so last but definitely not least, you got the AFC East. New York Jets are open. I swear to God, they're going to be the hardest team to fill. If we can find a Jets fan and fill them, it'll be a damn miracle, because they are not good. They are just not good. Hopefully we can get someone who loves to rebuild, and I don't mind if they turn that roster over, because there's not much there, to be honest with you. The Patriots, of course, Jeff Kane has come back to the league after taking a break when he got busy. I told him he could be welcome back, because he was a really good dude, man. He didn't win a lot when he had the Packers. But he was really active in trying to make moves and improve that roster. And it's a great attitude. And for all the junk I talk about Steven, the Cardinals, he did a really nice thing. He drafted the Patriots for him and basically swapped spots in the reverse draft. And that's a cool thing, man. And he didn't have to do that, and that I really appreciate it. I pick on guys and talk junk, but at the end of the day, if I didn't want you here, you wouldn't be here. And everyone here are really good dudes, and you know, Jeff and Steven are both really good guys for sure. You look at the Patriots, of course, Tom Brady, the cover boy, he'll be good for maybe a year or two. They did increase the amount of time quarterbacks will stay in the league. The CFM guy, John White, did say they can stay up until 44. Um, so, he might be around for a couple years. Of course, they're the Super Bowl champions. Thank God, because I hate the Falcons. F the Falcons. But anyways, he's got some good players around him. Defensively, I think they're gonna have to. They got a little younger, so I think they'll be okay for a little while. But he's gonna have to make some smart decisions with that roster, starting getting when you get into year 3 and year 4, so forth and so on. You look at the Dolphins, led by Heavy. Um, I really am glad that he joined this league. He joined back in Madden 16. I remember he was the Huskies. I think he joined in the middle back around that time. And ever since then, he's been a really sim player. And the only time I remember him complaining was against Deontay. Because they had some really tough and interesting battles in the NFC. But he's a guy that I enjoy playing against because he plays a lot like I do, using real strategy. And, that's the most fun thing to see when you're a coach, like I've been a coach for 13 years, is playing against someone who really enjoys the strategic part of the game and beating you not with just speed or not with just outside runs or not just zone blitzing. He gives you a cornucopia, big word, of coverages, plays, styles, and I try to do the same thing. And it'll be a joy going against him in the AFC East. He's a really good dude and a good member of the league, for sure. And then last and certainly not least are the Buffalo Bills, led by yours truly, GM Al Bundy, team president Marv Levy, and our head coach, who I don't know who the hell it's going to be just yet. Um, but Sean McDermott was a former Panthers defensive coordinator, so I might keep him, or I might, bring in a new guy. I don't know. I'll have to see. But like I said, I switched from the Bengals just because I wanted to give the new guys, especially, a shot at a good team, because I think they're a good group of guys, and any one of them could have taken the Bengals, and one did. And I'm glad because, the thing about it is, being the commish, I took my lumps with the Chargers last year, and even though we made them pretty good, the Chargers, I didn't know Deontay was a Chargers fan at the time. Well, I wouldn't have taken him either. But I like to take a team that I don't think a lot of people would take, just, so we don't have an opening and try to keep that revolving door closed. But with the Bills, honestly, I ain't had a chance to look at the roster, man. I know they got Tyrod Taylor on a short deal. We'll get a quarterback probably in the draft pretty soon. I don't think I'm keeping him. Shady McCoy's getting older. He'll be nice to use for maybe a year or two, but then, we'll have to find somebody behind him. We traded Sammy Watkins. I don't even know who the hell the damn Bills receivers are. Oh, we got Matthews, so he'll probably be the featured guy. I don't know I think my tight end's Clay. He's decent. Defensively, we lost Gilmore to free agency. I think we drafted a corner, and White, they said, was pretty good. So he'll be there. I really don't know, man. I have to get into the roster and kind of break them down. I know they got some old Panthers up there. Philly Brown's a receiver that's up there. He's okay. Mike Tolbert to be cut. Just being real. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. So you look at the NFC, and I'm gonna break it down real quick. I think Rad Job in the NFC East, Jones Boy NFC North, Jeff Falcons in the South. Cardinals in the NFC West. AFC East. Shoot, I'm gonna go heavy because my talent's down right now. AFC North, I like Bugatti. AFC South, I'm gonna go with Kyle and the Jaguars. And AFC West, I'm gonna go with Deontay and the Chargers. Those are my 8 division winners for year 1. And no, I'm not taking the fucking Jets. No. It crossed my mind for a minute, but man, I don't have any feelings for the Jets. At least with the Bills, there were some Panther guys in there like McDermott and Philly Brown and Tolbert I was fans of. With the Jets, I was just like, fuck. What am I gonna do with this shit, man? I can't trade nobody because I ain't got no one that anybody wants. So, nah, man. I can't do that. There's a limit. I take my league, really seriously, and I just can't do it. I can't do it. Alright, 15 minutes. Here we go. Alright, so let me pull up the rules, and I'm going to go through those just to remind everyone what our focus is for Madden 18. And then I'll go through the features real quick, and then I'll take some questions from the chat to finish it up if anyone's still watching. I don't even know what my viewer count is right now. Let's get to the rules here. Alright, so of course I'm ready to do this real quick. We use GroupMe. Everybody's got GroupMe, no problem. Complaints process. Now, very important. We're going to follow this process this year. I'm not going to listen to a whole bunch of crap in the chat. You got a complaint, I'm going to tell you, take it to the complaint form and file it. A couple people did that last year. We don't have a problem handing out suspensions. And what we like to do is suspend players. We don't really like suspending games. We'll tell you to sit your starting running back or starting quarterback, or maybe you're starting linebacker. Something along those lines if there are rule violations. We don't get a lot of rule violations, but every now and then some people skate like I told you about the shot caller. You know who I said who gets the shot caller, so keep that in mind. But use the complaint form, please, for complaints. We'll be on All-Pro again with slider adjustments. I'll play around with that when I get the game. We'll have a week. By the way, we'll have a week from the release of the cheap version of the game on the 25th. So the league starts September 1st. All right, it's in the calendar. Make sure you use your GroupMe calendar. Keep up with the league. We'll be using that a lot more this year. Alright, so I made a decision, owners or coaches. Last year I made everybody be an owner. We got deeper into the league. It created an issue with money and such. Coach, if you're a coach, of course, you can't relocate. Owners, you can do everything we did last year. Alright. Authorized relocation teams. Alright. Make sure you look at the rules and see who can relocate and who can't. If you move a team that cannot relocate, I'm going to boot you from the league. Alright? Period. Well, we talked about this before already. Make sure you look and see the team that you have, if they're authorized to move, if you want to move. You don't have to, of course. I hope that you don't do that. Alright? I really would love to keep everyone where they are, but I give you the option to do it if you want to. Alright? Advance is conducted with injuries off, 48-hour advance time 10 p.m. Y'all know how it is. If all the games are settled, we're going to push the pedal to the metal, and we're going to advance early. Alright? We get in, we're going to start in the preseason. One free agent signing is allowed for the entire preseason. Same rule we've always had, no free agent hoarding. You know what the deal is. If you hoard, I'm going to make them suck. I'm going to edit them. They're going to have 45 fucking speed, and they ain't going to be worth no good to nobody. Alright? Sign one free agent, make it easy. Practice squads open in week 2 of the regular season. Reason is because week 1, some people haven't had a chance to get in and make their adjustments. So we keep it off, and then we advance to week 2, it opens up. Sliding scale XP, starting 300 for year 1. We're going to decrease it um, a good bit. So it's going to start at 300 year one, and then we're going to drop to year two, and it'll drop year three, and we might just stop it right there. So it might be 200 year two, and then it'll be 100 the rest of Madden 19. Excuse me, 18. I hadn't made a final decision yet, but that's what I'm leaning towards doing. Okay. 300 year one encourages team building for the real rookies, the future stars of the league. Excuse me. 200 year two kind of makes it a little more of a challenge. And then 100, we would go authentic. But that's my thought right now. It may not stay that way. Don't worry about league regression plan. I'm taking that out with the changes that they made to Madden 18 as far as regression goes. We're going to roll with those, so we don't need a league regression plan anymore. All right, scheduling games. Make sure you make contact within the first 24 hours. If you don't, you know how it is. You get an auto, or we can be fair sim. Most guys have been pretty good about this, but it is not your opponent's responsibility to reach out to you. It is your responsibility to go out and make the contact to try to schedule the game. They don't respond, send a screenshot. Y'all know what happens from there. Force win. All right, we don't play CPU in the league, period. Streaming rule. I changed the streaming rule. Just one person must stream the game. Don't care who it is, if it's home or away. One person has got to stream it. There's no stream available and something happens, I'm not going to levy any punishment. Alright? Pretty simple. Gameplay rules. This is where the changes came in. Play calling's got to be a 70 to 30% ratio. Okay? That means you can be run heavy or pass heavy, but you got to have at least 30% run plays or pass plays. Okay? This is going to be enforced. Alright? It's really going to be enforced. And we can go back and look at your stats and make the calculations as needed. Okay? Pretty simple. Defensively, that means man or zone coverage. You got to run at least 30% man coverage going forward. I know a lot of people are zone people. And, you know, that's fine. But you look at the NFL, even teams, the Panthers played the most damn zone out of anyone last season. But there are times where you got to go man. Or they went man. And I looked up the percentages of it. And 30% is pretty much the minimum in the NFL. Alright, so first time violators, you're going to get a warning because it is a new rule. And then each violation after that will go into suspensions and then booting if we need to. Alright, actual plays on offense and defense cannot be called more than 5 times in a game. Alright, that means the actual play itself cannot be called more than 5 times. You can run a power scheme with similar plays like 24 power and halfback base are basically the same play. One's from the gun, one's from under center. You can run each of those up to 5 times each in a game. Alright? Don't abuse plays. Please don't do that. Okay? Same thing on defense. 5 times. I'm being really lenient. I'm being really lenient on that. Alright? Actual routes on offense cannot be abused more than 5 times in a game. That means you can't throw damn 17 posts. You can't throw damn 16 drags. And some of y'all are guilty of that. A very select few. But some of you are. Alright? I think that's the one that is really going to be enforced the most. And some people may not know the difference between certain routes. There's a drag, there's a slant, there's a dig, there's a post. All 4 of those break inside. But they're all different routes. Okay? Be smart. Be a coach. If you want to attack the middle of the field, that's fine. But just don't do it the same damn way. I mean, that can be the focal point of your offense. But please mix it up. Please. That's why we're doing this. Wide receiver rule from last year. The max 10 catches, max of 200 yards is still in there. Defensive formation rules are still in there. I think everyone's pretty good on those. Make sure you review those. I'm not going to go through everything on here. Highlights, QB rollouts, no pressure. Please don't do that. Moving more than one player pre-snap on defense. No movement on special teams at all. Please don't do that. Y'all can read the rest of those. Fake punts and fake field goals. We added this rule in. You can do one or the other once a game, irregardless of the 4th down situation. Can onside kick at any time. Low risk play. I don't have a problem with that. Just don't do it if you're blowing somebody out. Don't damn onside kick, because then they're running the score up, and nah, we don't do that here. All about respecting your opponent. Make sure you review no huddle rules. Position changes are the same. Nothing changed there. Disconnects, same deal. Y'all can reset it to the way you want to, or you can reset it back to disconnect conditions. Off-season schedule. We really pride ourselves in being as far ahead as possible with letting you know when the draft is, when free agency is, when the advances are, so forth and so on. Big thing with off-season. Madden 18 has a draft board, alright? So make sure when you get the game, you're going to have a week before we start the league. Go in there, run through a CFM, see how the draft board runs. I posted a video about it not too long ago, but you can find that video on YouTube. Kind of goes through the draft board. It's pretty simple. If you play fantasy football, it's the same setup. You kind of drag your players to where you want the CPU to draft them. Then if you don't make the draft, they'll just go off your draft board that you set up and draft whoever you want. Okay? We're down to about 5 minutes. We talked about the features the other day. Just to run through them real quick. Of course, this is going to be called PEL Live. We'll do it every Tuesday night starting at 10 p.m. It may not be an hour every week, but we're going to do it. I'm going to try to do at least 30 minutes. And then we're going to do this in a different format sometimes. I may just open it up to questions that y'all post in the chat. We may have a featured league owner on the phone. I'm not just going to give a phone number out because I want to keep control of this shit. But we'll see how it goes. We may feature a team. We may break down. Of course, we'll break down the league and how things are going. I'll tell you, next week's show, we'll dive more into the features. I didn't get a chance to get into all those last night. But we'll dive more into the features next week. Hopefully we have some more people that'll fill the league up. We can talk a little bit about them. And then, maybe we can talk a little bit more about Madden 18. We'll have some more information to talk about the game as well. So we got 4 minutes left. I'm looking at the chat. If you got questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to catch up a little bit and see what's being said. Yeah, Heavy, you disconnected against Deontay. That was some bullshit. No, you didn't almost get booted. I wasn't going to boot you for that, but it was a suspendable offense for sure. Already said I'm not taking the Jets. Cody says fuck the Jags. Alright. No, Agape, I did not pick you for the NFC East. I picked Rag Job on that because you're going to miss half the games and go 8-8. That's why I didn't pick you. Awesome. Cardinals can be moved. Yeah, I don't have a problem moving the Cardinals. The Cardinals got moved in last Madden too. They became the Marshals, and funny story. We actually had a guy that was going to join the league, and the only opening at the time was the Marshals. They were the old Cardinals, and he asked could he move them back, and I said I don't think you can do that. I mean, once you move a team, they can't move from where they came from. I wish you could, though. That'd be pretty cool. And he said he didn't want to join because he wanted an authentic NFL team. So I was like, all right, well, next opening we'll get you in. And, of course, by that time, I said, okay, I see what this is going to be. Did I see the link that I posted? No, I didn't see the link, Rag Joe. Let me go back up. I must have missed that. I don't see it. I don't know where it is. He must have posted it a while back. Agape, you got a question. Go ahead and post it. We're down to 2 minutes, so anyone that's got any comments or questions, you can go ahead and ask me live, and I'll be glad to answer them. Ragjo, what was your link about? Well, you can post it again if you're still here. Gabe, you gotta type faster, man. Come on. You asking me no damn book. In terms of play calling, I got these boys with this O line. So if I run the ball, can you clarify the running a play 5 times? What kind of clarification do you need, man? If you run halfback ISO 5 times, you can't run it no more. Now, can you run halfback dive? Yeah, you can run halfback dive 5 times. You can run 24 power 5 times. You can run halfback stretch 5 times. You can run. They got a new play called 26 duo. You can run 26 duo 5 times, but you can't run it no more than 5 times. Inside zone 5 times. Now I know that it's in multiple formations, but there are other plays that mimic what inside zone does. Okay, and what I'm wanting you to do is be more creative in your play calling. And what coaches do is this: if I want to attack, let's say the outside, we call it outside the hashes or outside the numbers. If I want to attack there, I'm going to look at the plays that are going to get me to that area, okay? And there's several ways to get to that area. If I'm throwing the ball, I'm going to throw an out route. I can throw a zig. I can throw a corner route. I can go deep down the sideline. That's what I'm wanting you to do, okay? Be multiple in the ways you attack the same areas of the field. That's what real football is all about, guys. Yeah, they're in multiple formations. What I'm saying is, no, I'm not saying means, no, now hold on. First of all, Steven, what I'm saying is, you can run different plays that attack that area. I'm not saying you can run inside zone out of the eye, inside zone out of, no, that's the same play. That's what I'm trying to get away from. We can't keep running the same play out of different formations. No. Mix your plays up. Alright? You can run plays that hit the same area and same style but not be the same play. This is what I'm talking about. Rag Job just posted the link. Madden 18 will not require update for 4K. I got a 4K TV, but it's not hooked up to where I play Madden. But that's pretty cool to see. I just clicked on it. So if you do have 4K and Madden 18, you're gonna have it, of course. I'll be interested to see how good it looks in 4K. I bought 4K kind of ahead because of the craze of where TV was going and all that. But that'll be pretty cool, man. Thanks for sharing that. I know, Gabe, you don't abuse plays. I know you don't. But hopefully that gave you the clarity that you were looking for. You even would play cover 1 when you knew it wasn't going to work. And I would tell you all the time, you're going to play man 2. Don't play cover 1, but you step playing cover 1 anyway, so whatever. Alright. Any more questions, concerns, comments? I appreciate what you said, Cody. My voice is actually pretty dry. I've been doing videos like crazy. I did 13 videos yesterday for my high school football stuff, and now I've got to post those because my buddy that's supposed to post them can't post them. So I'll be up for a little while. If anyone has more questions, feel free to ask. I know you are. I know you're a man person. And hopefully it'll play better this year. They say it will, so we'll see how it goes. But I definitely appreciate everyone watching. I definitely appreciate everyone being a part of the league. And now I'm looking, I see 7 people. Man, that's pretty damn good, man. If we keep it up at 7, maybe get it up into double digits. We got a good thing going on here. But this is gonna end it because I've got to post a bunch of videos and try to get all these up before midnight. But this will be available in replay. Once it processes, it's gonna take a little while because it's an hour video. But once it gets done processing, I'll post it on YouTube and then I'll share it to the league. All right, we'll see y'all next week. Thanks a lot, guys.